Hi, welcome to Bella's Yoga Room. I'm Bella. Hi. Today's practice is yoga for forgiveness. And that might be self-forgiveness, or it might be forgiveness of somebody else, whether that's someone close to you or maybe just somebody who cut you off and it's difficult to let go of that, cut you off in traffic. So whatever it is that's happening, welcome. Great job coming to your mat and wanting to do something to help move through and process all of those feelings and maybe let go of some of that anger as well. So let's come and join me in a comfortable seated position. If you would like to start lying down on the mat too, you're very welcome to. I'm sitting up on a blanket. I do have a block that we're going to be using towards the end. So if you do have a block, you might want to just go grab that or have that handy. But if you don't have it, that's okay. You might even want to just have a couple pillows nearby. So coming into a upright seated position, if that's comfortable for you, maybe resting the hands on the knees, closing the eyes or just having a soft gaze down. And just really trying to bring the attention inwards to the body, noticing the alignment of the spine. Are you sitting upright? Are you leaning forward? Is there any pain or discomfort you're noticing? And this is your home practice, so make any adjustments you need to. Or maybe it's pain that you feel in your chest, maybe tightness you're noticing, or you feel it in your tummy. Often in our gut, we can feel things when we're churning over and over something. And so just noticing how the body's feeling, or maybe the mind is racing and it's really hard to focus on my voice. And wherever you are today, just really giving yourself permission to finish this practice. You've come along already. Let's just work through it. And then noticing maybe the positioning of the shoulders. And then on our next inhale, we're going to bring the shoulders up a little bit. And then as you exhale, rolling them back. We don't need to throw them around. Just inhale again, up, and then rolling them back. And just keep going with that. So inhaling and rolling them back. Inhale and rolling them back. And then let's start some little circles as well. Let's just let the shoulders rest now. Often when we are feeling angry or holding on to things, we might notice that tension in the shoulders. So I just wanted to release them first. And then let's just do some movements, maybe little circles with the nose, having some movement. And then let's go the other way. Just a little bit here. Maybe you've been craning over a phone, going over messages. Maybe it feels nice to stretch out that neck. And one more if that feels good. And then returning to stillness. Let's take a nice deep breath in together. And breathing out. Trying to breathe in through the nose if you can, and then out through the mouth. Last time here. Fantastic. Let's come to all fours. So we're going to come over. If you are sitting up on a block or some blanket, just move that off to the side. And we're going to come into our cat-cow. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And as we inhale, looking up, opening that chest. And then exhale, rounding the spine, looking at that belly button. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to center, just tabletop position here. Going to have that left hand flat on the ground, opening up the right side and then threading that underneath. Coming to rest on that right shoulder, right ear. Opening up into that back and thread the needle here, looking at a different perspective. And then if you had that hand, walk it back next to the face and coming back up, opening out and letting that hand, that right hand come down, opening up the left side and then threading that left arm underneath the right, maybe stretching that right arm out in front, coming onto the left ear, left shoulder. Getting that release in that upper back, right side body. And then walking that hand back. Coming back to center. I'm going to tuck the toes under here. I'm going to come into our down dog. So have the hands just a little bit further out than under our shoulders. Tuck those toes and lift up those hips, pushing them back. Maybe walking out the feet here in our down dog. And then after a few breaths, just letting the body come to some stillness. If you are noticing any tension in the shoulders or the head, neck, maybe just shake out that head a little bit and nod up and down. And we're going to just lift up that right leg and step that right foot forward, keeping the hands nice and low here in our low lunge. Maybe walking, you might find you might walk that right foot a little bit further off that mat, really getting into that right hip there, opening up here. And then we're going to sort of pivot, come through, coming into a wide-legged fold. So if you do have a block, you might want to use that block or have that there. Bend those knees again as much as you need to. Now forward folds, always a good reminder to, if there's anything that we're holding on our shoulders, to just let that go. Nice deep breaths here. And then we're going to walk our way back to the right, to the front of the mat, to that right foot. Step that right foot back, coming back into our down dog. Let's lift up that left leg now. Step that up to the top of the mat, lowering down that right knee. Maybe taking a few sort of heel toe, opening up in that, getting that sort of modified lizard variation on the left side, left hip. Nice deep breaths here. And then we're going to just step the foot back there. Option here for our child's pose, we can either do extended child's pose, so that's with the knees wide, toes touching, or you can keep the knees together and the toes together, and maybe then just allowing the head to bow down. Maybe allow the hands to slide all the way down so they're going past your toes. In this position, Balasana. That child's pose. Coming back to ourselves, making a little cave. Sometimes we need to retreat when things are really overwhelming, to reflect on what we need. And as you're breathing here, see if you can feel the movement of the breath, particularly trying to focus across sort of the upper back and the ribs as they expand. And just keep taking a few more breaths here. As we just giving ourselves a moment, and then allowing the hands to come forward and just pushing out of that nice and slowly. So you come back and return to maybe some light. We're going to kick that left foot back, just rocking back and forth here. And then lift that leg up. We're going to bend that knee and just a few little circles here. Core is engaged. And going the other way. And so we are going to be sort of opening up in the chest too, because often when we're feeling angry or we're struggling, holding on to something, we're going to get really tense and close up in the chest, which isn't going to help us. So lengthen out that left leg. And you can stay here, or you might want to bend it and try and think about pointing those toes up to the sky. Option as well, maybe have that opposite arm, so right arm maybe is coming round to reach behind, opening up there, feeling it in that left hip and also in that right shoulder, and then letting go slowly. And let's just come back into our child's pose. Take a moment. Couple breaths here. Notice if anything came up. And then coming back up. We're going to repeat that on the other side. So letting that right foot lengthen out. Feeling that, getting that core engaged here. And then lifting up that right leg, maybe bending. We're going to do some circles of that hip. And the other way. And then we're going to prepare for that balance pose. So either you can just be balancing here on your hands and knee, or if you do want to open up into that chest, invitation to have that opposite arm out, reaching behind, opening up here. Keep breathing. Feels good. And then release. Lovely. Let's just sit back upright though, and just give those wrists a little bit of a circle. And other way. Beautiful. Let's come over onto our bottoms. Give those legs a bit of a shake out. Let's hug that right knee up into the chest. Hug that left arm all the way round. And then swim that right arm behind. Nice and tall in that spine, maybe looking over that right shoulder. Breathing into that twist. One of my favorite quotes when it comes to forgiveness is holding a grudge or not forgiving is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. But you're the person that's suffering. I don't know, it's always stuck with me. Let's come back to center. Swap legs, give them a shake in between. Bring that left knee up, hugging that right elbow around. Swim that left arm behind and maybe looking over that left shoulder. We're human, we're always going to make mistakes at some stage in our lives. Nobody is perfect. Often we are our hardest critics. And so I think a lot of the work is often about self-forgiveness. Come back to center. And some days that's going to be easier than others. So again, for whatever reason you chose this, I am proud of you. Let's bend those knees a little bit. If you did want to sit up on your cushion or blanket, you can do that as well. Otherwise, thinking nice and tall in the spine and then folding over. Again, our forward folds, those opportunities of that coming to face ourselves. Only you know what you're holding on to and what doesn't serve you. Changing behavior can be really, really hard. And so coming and practicing yoga, practicing maybe getting uncomfortable or practicing being still, being a student, it's always a valuable use of your time. And rolling up. Going to come back down onto our backs now. Any way that's comfortable for you. I'm going to hug those knees into the chest. Maybe rocking side to side, or up and back a little bit. And this is when we're going to get that block if you've got it. So just allowing the feet to come down onto the ground, keeping with the heels of the feet to be about hip distance apart. So you want to, again, thinking about when we're in bridge, we don't want our knees to be sort of folding out. We want to have them as two parallel lines. So we're going to use the block and have that just under, sort of just above our tailbone, our lower back, just to support that. So if you don't have a block, that's okay. You can just do a bridge, take breaks as you need to. But otherwise, we're going to have hands beside the body, heels pushing down, and then we're going to be lifting up those hips. Maybe if you are using that block, coming and bringing that so that's just sort of at the top of your bottom really, and then allowing that to just support you and just noticing Maybe that creates a bit more openness in the chest. We're going to be here for a couple minutes. So you could either have some pillows or blankets, or you could hold this for a couple breaths if you don't have a block, and then take a break, and then come back again. And so here in the supported bridge, just noticing if there's anything you're sort of clenching or squeezing, and see if you can just surrender to this pose. Notice the support. Notice the breath. You might feel it sort of like in the throat as well. And maybe that's because there's maybe something that you haven't been able to say or that you want to say. Something maybe you need to say to yourself. So just notice that. Couple more breaths here. And then to come out, just lifting the hips a little bit higher just to allow that block to come out. And then allowing spine to come down slowly. You might want to just sort of move the hips from one side to the other with the knees, sort of that windshield wiper, that sort of internal and external rotation of the hips. And then allowing the feet to come to touch, and then allowing the knees to come just to open, allow gravity to be pushing down. And if this is really intense, just have the feet further away from the pelvis. So that's going to take off some of that pressure. But if you want more of a hip opener, then just bringing those heels into the pelvis. And maybe resting the hands on the belly here. Just taking last few deep breaths here. Notice the movement. Where are you breathing into? And then let's just bring the hands to the outsides of those knees, closing them in, and then extending those legs out. You have a blanket or cushion, you might want to put that under the head, or you might want to cover yourself in a blanket if we're about to cool down, or just come to stillness in Shavasana. Make any final adjustments that you need to. Allow the eyes to close. Allow the body to be still and supported by the ground. And noticing how the body is feeling after this practice. Has anything shifted? Maybe yes, maybe no. Either way, you've still done something really valuable in your mind and body today. Moved all that energy move the blood around. Noticing the rhythm of the breath. And notice if your mind wanders, and just coming back to the body, coming back to the sensations. Maybe coming back to the sounds around you. And then staying here for as long as you have today. And if you're ready to get on with your day, and just starting to move the fingers, the toes, bring some movement back. Deepen the breath. And maybe bringing the knees up, rolling over to one side, coming, sit up. Keeping the eyes shut if you can, but if you've opened your eyes, that's so fine. Thank you so much for practicing with me. If you enjoyed this practice, please let me know. And I hope that whatever you're going through, if this helped you, and have a wonderful day. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.